In Melrose, Massachusetts, a suburb just north of Boston, the first grade students of Valerie Costandos are learning skills of leadership, self-regulation, and independence.
Morning, Teddy. My name is Valerie Costandos. I teach at the Beebe School in Melrose, Mass. I teach first grade. I've been teaching for over 20 years.
Samuel, here. Son, here.
At the beginning of the year, I teach the routine of morning meeting by modeling. I do it myself for a few days.
Choices. Chicken nuggets.
And I think it's important that all kids get in that role of being the leader.
Salad roll.
You know, sometimes people don't believe they take lunch in attendance at first grade, but I think, you know, if we give them a challenge, they rise to it.
Who's ordering chicken nuggets?
I get to set up, get ready for the day during that time, listen to kids read.
Who's ordering chicken nuggets?
DW had a problem. The Tibble twins are visiting again, and they're driving me crazy, she said.
Okay, let me just hear you read one page of that. Are you ordering? Did you put one for yourself? Okay, could I just see that double check again, just to make sure, because today is a day that people have to order tickets.
1, 2, 3.
Would you say that that book was easy, hard, or just right for you to read?
Just right.
Okay.
When they return the book that they read at home, they look around the room, they choose a new book.
And what did you think?
Sometimes I'll say, oh, you know, that's a little too easy. You know, you've got 3 books that you read that are very easy. Why don't you take one that's a little bit more challenging?
Good? Can you tell me some more?
Because it's kind of funny because now the Tibble twins, Arthur has to babysit them at his house, and DW gets freaked out because she has
A lot of the boys like the nonfiction books. Sometimes if all the books are nonfiction, I might steer them into reading another genre. I might say, you know, you read, the last 5 books you read were these kind of books. What about, you know, this kind of a book?
Oh, Mama didn't. All right, thanks, Tom. You can go back in your place. And could I ask everyone to stand up and stretch, have a stretch break, and then you're going to go in your rows of 5?
I want them to love reading, and they do now. I mean, even when I say take a break, it's amazing. They go to the books. They like run to the books. So I mean, I want them to love reading. I don't only want them to learn how to read and write. I want to teach them how to read and write so that they can love reading.
Okay, everybody, please come back and sit in rows of 5, and you'll have time to read those books a little later, okay? Let's go over the daily schedule for today. I already did it before you came in. So you had morning meeting, and you had, it's going to be time for the teacher read aloud. On Mondays after teacher read aloud, we'll do shared reading.
I like getting together as a group because then we can have some common kind of language, like, oh, you know, when we read that story by Colin West, so we all know about that story. Whereas in the guided reading groups, only that group will know that author or that book, and so we can't make connections on other days. So this gives the whole group sort of a way to connect.
And a lot of people got excited because it was their favorite story from the last anthology that we had from Too Big, the anthology Too Big. What was the title of that story? Monster and the Baby by Virginia Mueller and illustrated by Lynn Munsinger. And a lot of people like that story, and you recognized it from the title. And look at the characters. Are they the same?
No.
One is.
One looks the same?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So the cover reminds me of it's Halloween for Monster and Monster Can't Sleep.
Yes, we have another book, A Halloween Mask for Monster. Same characters in it, written by Virginia Mueller and pictures by Lynn Munsinger. And Monster Can't Sleep. What I'm going to ask you to do now is to make a prediction about this story. And I want you to notice, too, just like we noticed the character in this story, her face, and gave a good clues to her feelings. I would like you to notice that, too, as I turn the pages here. And you be thinking of a prediction and notice the faces of the characters, okay? See if you can think about feeling words and how they're feeling. Okay, think of a prediction. What do you think it's going to be all about? A playhouse for Monster. Okay, whisper to the person near you. Okay, share with the class now. We'll listen to a couple of people share with the class. Will?
I think that the monster tells him to go out, and then
Tells the new character to go out from what?
to go out of his playhouse, and then the monster, he falls around in the playhouse, and then he looked out the window, and he saw that he was crying, so he set everything up, and he changed it to say welcome.
Changed the thing, what thing?
The piece of paper.
The sign. He changed the sign to say welcome. So you noticed that his friend was crying?
Yeah.
And you think Monster felt happy at first?
Yeah.
He didn't want to share his playhouse with anybody?
But then he did.
Okay, what I would like you to do now is think about whether or not you need some help to read this story. If you think you can read this on your own, I want you to take a book, go to your seat, wait, listen to all the directions before you start to do anything, because you're going to miss some if you start at the beginning. I want you to go to your seat and read the story silently 2 times. And when you finish, then you can come and join us on the rug, right? So the people who think they can do that, come and get a book.
I feel like why should all the kids stay and have, my voice if they don't need it? And those kids who do need it should have it. So that's why I don't send everybody off to read it silently. And sometimes kids will get up to go, and I want them to stay, and I'll remind them. The whole idea is that they learn for themselves whether they need help, whether they don't. They start reflecting, thinking about what, whether they can choose a book or choose a story that they're able to read. I think it's really important they learn how to self-select.
Here's the table of contents, and you have to look at all the pages. 84 it says, that's down the back.
84.
So I don't have to turn all the pages, I can get there quickly.
I got it.
All right, let's read. Playhouse for Monster. I want to hear you too. This is by Virginia Mueller, illustrated by Lynn Munsinger. So point to the words. Monster made a sign. It said, keep out. Okay, let's turn the page. And I want you to take a look at this page. It says, this is my playhouse, Monster said. Yeah, how come we have to say it like that, my? See those letters? Do they look different from the other? Did you see that word? Does that word look different from the other letters in the other words in the sentence? Look at that word. Does it look different from the other words?
Because it's like slided a little.
Yeah, it's slanted, and that tells us we have to read it with emphasis like this. This is my playhouse, Monster said.
My.
Let's try it. This is my playhouse, Monster said. And look at his friend. Does his friend look happy about that?
He looks like.
Monster made a new sign. It said welcome.
So you should do like this.
Because we started out together, I like to come back together and discuss whatever is done and sort of like sum up what we learned. And it also gives me an idea of how those kids did over there that I didn't work with.
Everybody turn to page 94. Page 94.
Here it is.
What does it say under that page? Read that for us, please. Would you? No, Maddie. I'm sorry, Maddie.
This is my playhouse, Monster said.
Will you read what it says underneath there, Will?
This is my playhouse.
Yeah, how come you read it with my like that? How come you said that?
Because it was kind of slanted.
Yeah, but see, the letters in my are slanted. And that tells us, the reader, when we're reading that, to emphasize, like, this is my playhouse, Monster said. Okay, turn the page.
Well, there are certain things that I want all the first graders to learn. So that's what I would teach with the whole class. And there are other things that perhaps they didn't get maybe in the whole group, that they need a little bit more I might do in a small group, so I can better meet the needs of all the kids, which I think is the biggest challenge.
Let's read it all together. 2 cookies. 2 glasses of milk. Point to the words. Oh, thank you. What a nice design. Thanks, Tom. Good evening, Melinda. Morning, Sam. How are you?
What I would like them to get by the end of this year is to become independent readers, writers, and to want to be able to take risks because they've had all this opportunity to be independent in first grade.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And to be self-motivated and reflect on their own work and know what they need and when they need help and what they're really good at and be proud of that and hopefully too to learn how to be with others in a large group situation.
To catch it.
Thanks. Okay, this is the title of the book, Sheep Out to Eat. Has anybody ever seen this book? Sheep in a Jeep? How many have heard that one? And
I wanted to review rhymes and I wanted to introduce that long E.
Sheep Out to Eat. This is written by Nancy Shaw and illustrated by Margot Apple. Sheep gets menus, sheep want feed. They point to words that they can't read.
They're all rhyming words.
Yeah, this is a rhyming word book. It has a lot of rhyming words. Sheep. What are the words that rhyme? Listen, sheep gets menus, sheep want feed. They point to words that they can't read.
Feed, read.
Sheep get soup, sheep scoop. Sheep slurp, sheep burp.
Burp, slurp.
So the book that I read emphasized rhymes and also had a lot of that long E sound. And I wanted them to learn the different spellings that I had them work on today, which was E as in he, E as in treat, and E as in C, which are vowel words. Those would be the key words for those sounds.
Okay, I want us to use the blue chart now to go over some of the new wall words that we're going to get to add to the wall. We've got lots and lots of words that we're able to read. And we're not only able to read those words, we're able to read words, more words than that, right?
We can read words that rhyme.
Yep. Nick? The word is he. You say it. He. Say it again. He. Hold up one finger for each sound you hear. He. He. So, Jamie, you think two sounds? Okay, I'm going to make a sound box. 2 boxes here. Okay. He. So what letter do you hear first? Yes.
H.
He. Next, Will?
E.
The word is he. We stretched it out and we heard 2 sounds. How many letters are in that word? Lenexa, how many letters?
2.
2 letters are in that word.